Hi guys, this is Meet Actions here. Today I'm going to show you how to use a new Photoshop action which is called Watercolor Sketch Art, and it will transform your photos, for example, from this photo to this. If you already don't know this action yet, so please check out it. The link is in the description below this video. So let's load our action to our Photoshop. To make that, go to Window and click the Actions panel, and here click this button and go to Load Actions. Load our action file, and here it is in the folder and all the actions. This folder contains all the actions. And now we need to go to Edit and Presets Manager, and here we can load our brushes, and in the brushes click Load our main brushes file, then go to Patterns and do the same, Patterns file, OK, and click Done. So now I open my image, and there is a few things that you need to remember before using this action. So the first thing is that the image must be on the locked background layer. If it's not, like for example here without the locking sign, you must select this and go to Layer, New, and Background from Layer. And now it's correctly prepared. So you must also remember that your Photoshop must be in English. So to check that, go to Edit, Preferences, Interface, and here is the setting. Okay. Also, your photo must be in the RGB mode. So click on the Image mode, here RGB mode, and 8 bits channel. Okay. So another thing is you need to go here to the Layers panel, click this button, go to Panel Options, and this option is very important. It must be checked. Add copy to copied layers and groups. Okay. Also, click B for brush, and your brush must be set on the 100% opacity and 100% flow, and mode must be in the normal. So now let's see what we have in the folder with actions. So at first, there is a main area empty. This is the starting action. We can use it. So click play. And this action just built our additional area layer, and we need to paint our subject on this area. So there is other actions here, and there are two groups. So the first group is for older version of Photoshop and a newer version of Photoshop, sorry, and the second group is for older version of Photoshop. So in this case, we will use a horizontal action, and when we have a horizontal image like this one, for example, the action will resize our image into 4000 pixels wide. So, and if we have a vertical image, and analogically it will resize our image to 4000 pixels high. So there is you don't need to resize your images by your own, and this will be fully automatically, and after the action is finished you can also resize image like you want. Okay, we need to paint our subject, and I will close the action panel for now. And when you are on the area layer, just click B for brush, and you can paint your subject like you want, and you can use any color that you want. It doesn't matter. However, you can use also any other selection techniques that you like. For example, you can go to background and click W for a special selecting tool, and just try to select your subject, and then go to area layer again and just fill it with some color. It's up to you, and you can use whatever technique you like. So like you see, I have finished the painted work, the selecting work, and you have to remember that you don't have to be fully accurate in this selection. For example, you can see that I didn't select those spaces, because you don't have to be completely accurate, because this action already gives you not so accurate handmade look. So just don't take it too seriously and go fast with the selection, experiment, play around with it. And you must also remember that this area cannot be completely empty or completely fully painted. So there will always be something on it, but not on the whole layer. So now you can use one of the actions, and you must choose the proper action for your image orientation and for your Photoshop version. So in this case, I will use this action and just click play. So the pop-up window will show, and click stop, and like you see, the brush is already selected. And here, just by clicking, simple clicking, you will provide the areas with a color. So any area that will show will be in color actually, and you can just make some of these imperfections to look much more interesting. And you can also use X button to go to the invert mode, so now you can decrease these imperfections, and you can also change the size of the brush to make more accurate in this. And for example, for now I want to maybe some more imperfections on his body, but already I think it looks quite interesting. So all you gotta do now is play the action. Click this button, play. So I'll click it and wait till the action is finished. And the speed of this action depends on how fast is your computer. Okay, the action is finished, and at first I want to close our folders. To close every folder in this one main folder, click Alt or Option and keep pressing this button, and then click this triangle and release this button and click again. So now you see all the folders are closed and organized. For now I just want to close our action panel, we don't need it. And now I'm going to show you what you actually can do with this effect, how you can modify the look of this effect. So there's a lot of things going on here, so I will just make it more simple. So at first I'm gonna turn off this lot of colorful spots for now. So those two folders are the colorful spots here, and just turn off. Yes, this is much more clearly look. And at first, I'm going to show you how to edit the contours. So the contours are the red folder. All contours are in this folder. And the first thing that you can see, the contours are the lack of the contours on the border of this image. So sometimes you can use it, and I think for now I will disable this mask. So click Shift and click on the mask on this folder, and now you see we have all contours on the whole image. So I will open this folder, and now what we have here, we have additional main two layers, which are additional contour and main contour, and those two layers are just a whole subject contour, black contour. So for example, the difference is that the main contour is only on our area selected spaces. So the other additional contour is on the whole image. So if we want it, sometimes it's interesting because, for example, here those horizontal lines will show that there is some way, and I think it's interesting. But for example, here maybe we don't want those lines or those lines from the shadow of this subject. So to get rid of it, just click an additional color mask and click for a brush and just simply mask it. So it's very easy, and you can do it very fast. So maybe get rid of this, and maybe here too, as I don't want this line to be shown, and those lines are pretty fun here. So maybe here too. Okay, so on the top of the subject you will see the small paint spots. So I will just turn off those folder too. This is the orange folder, small paint spots, and how you can see that there are a lot of things, there are a lot of small paint spots, and you can also mask it. Okay, come back to the subject contours, and for example, you see that sometimes there are a lot of black areas on the contour. So those are on the main contour layer. Like you see, when you want some maybe lighter look, you can just click on this mask and again mask some spaces to achieve more lighter, more outline look, and you can modify it easily. it's very easy to modify. I think it looks quite interesting now, and other other layers here are softlines 2 and softlines 3. So all these layers have the color modificators, and the last one have a color modificator which is turned on, and it's in white color, and like you see, it's this effect of these very chaotic lines, and you can modify the color of it like you want. And for now I will leave it with a black, with a white color. And other softlines 2 and softlines 1 is those details which are representing some sketchy look. You can simplify, go and turn it off. Like you see, if you don't want them, you can turn it off. If you like them, or if you like or if you want to mask it out, just change again, click on the mask of this of each layer and mask it out. So I think this subject contours thing is quite easy to understand. And maybe for now I will open the subject colors, which are only the colors of our subject, and I will open the all folders, and you can see the gradient map here. You can turn it on, and what you see that this gradient does influence only the subject color, so you can change the gradient like you want, and achieve some interesting interesting stuff here. Maybe some reddish in reddish or something like that. So you have full ability to change color of it in that way. But for now I will turn it off. And what we have here, we have another folder with special layers to fix the brightness of these colors. So if you have this effect is already look good, and it isn't too bright, it isn't too dark. But if sometimes you have you can achieve some very dark or much more lighter look and want to have it more dark or more light, so you can always use those two layers to just brighter fix and darker fix to just change it. And you can use one additional layer or one of each, or just make turn on the two layers. So you can also here you can also click on the pattern fill 1 layer and click twice, and now you have ability to move the texture of the watercolor if you need some special position of the details of this texture. So you have fully control of that. And I think it's all for this folder. So I will close it now, and I will go to small paint spots folder again. So I will turn it on. Yes, there are a lot of those spots here, and maybe there are too much of it. So we have here actually four groups of these spots. So you can choose whichever you want, or simply I like to, if there's some if there's too much in the spots in some places that I want to have a much more in a simple way, just you can click the main mask of this folder and mask it again. For example, I don't want to have those spots on this face of this character, so I can just mask it like I want and reveal some more details. And maybe here is a little too much. Okay, one more thing about the subject colors. I forgot about this special mask for the subject colors. Remember that you selected on the beginning of the action those imperfections. So now you have ability to turn it off. So with a shift and click on this mask, you just turn it off, all the imperfections, and now you see that all the colors of the subject are visible. So you can choose if you want this effect or not by just clicking and by just clicking on this action on this mask. I'm sorry. So what we have here is a background paint folder, which contains all the backgrounds below this subject. And what we have here, the first most important layer is pattern fill tool. Click twice on it and you can again change the position of the watercolor texture, and you can play around with it. And you can there are two modificators, the hue saturation and the brightness contrast, so this is very easy to adjust the brightness of this background. You can also change the colors in it's very fast. Just click it twice, hue saturation, and just change by dragging this adjustment. But if you want some maybe more accurate adjustment, just turn it off and choose your own group of colors in this gradient. And when you click twice on the gradient, you can just choose the orientation on this gradient, or you can just use your own colors. It's up to you. You can also change the scale of the transition of these two colors, so make it more sharp or make it super soft. Okay, if you want only one color without the gradient here in the background, you can just turn off this gradient layer, like here, and now the color fill is visible. So now you have ability to change this color accurately. So okay, and there's a special mask also which is shown here, and you can with a shift button and click it, you can just achieve the background on the whole image. And also you can turn it off to simply achieve the simple white paper look. And I think it's all. Oh no, there is also on the top of this folder, there is also a gradient fill with a I will just make it again, maybe with some gradient. And there is a special gradient fill tool layer, and I will turn it on. And this is a gradient with some white gradient, and you can modify like the rest, maybe some for now, some sharper. And also you can now just move it maybe only on the corner of this image. You have fully control with that. Okay, and when you turn off this whole background paint, you will see that now this special additional plain background layer will be only visible. So now there are no watercolor effects on this paper, and you can just turn the color like you want to have even more interesting looks, maybe more simple. And also you can experiment with some darker colors, maybe some. You can see even if you have a darker colors, the paper texture is visible. So the paper texture is all in the paper texture folder here. Like you see, you can just turn it off, and there are also some. Maybe I will turn off the background paint again to see exactly what we want. And you have some paper texture layers to play around with it. For example, you can change the opacity of this layer and go up, and you can achieve some more paper look here. But remember, the more you have this paper look, the darker image will be. Okay, I will leave it on the default, like 16 or 15. Okay, and the last thing, the last most important thing, maybe for now I will just use some gradients. Maybe I will do some quick nice composition here. I will maybe something like this, maybe much more bright background. Okay, so now I want to turn on my color spots. So I will start with a bigger one. So this large color spot, I will turn it on. Okay, so I think there are plenty of this, maybe too much. And there are 3 groups which are connected to color modificator each. So I can just maybe test it out how look to find the best looking. I think this composition is quite interesting. You can also use all the folders. You can also mask it like you want. So maybe, for example, I don't like that there is some tile of this. So I want to get rid of this. So just click the mask of this object and just paint it. And it's simple like that. Okay, so you can now change the color of it. I think the blue for now, to fit the costume of this man. And you can also open each folder, and then you see those layers. And if you want to make these spots even more vibrant with different colors, you can just turn off the main color modificator of this object. So I will turn it off. So now you see the this blue color doesn't influence these colors, and you have much more possibilities to change the colors this way. And okay, so last thing, maybe I forgot about the medium color spots. So I will turn again this folder. So there are a lot of small spots here now, and here are only two groups of these spots. So maybe I will test if I like something. I think maybe the red one is better. And again, this is the same. You can also change the colors of it to get some interesting look. Or maybe purple. It's up to you. Okay. So all the folders with the color spots have also disabled the mask. You can, when you click Shift and click on this mask, you will see that again. You will see that this is actually aligned with our main background mask. So you have ability to achieve some color like this, some effect like this when the color spots are only on this background paint. And again, the last thing, really last thing, there are some modificators here too, and they are influencing all the image. So there is a special filter, color filter in it. So like you see, I didn't turn off it in the beginning because I really like this filter, and this adds a very cool vintage effect look on, and make this image more subtle. And you can also change any colors like you want here on this filter, but there is a way to do that. Just turn on the filter adjustment here, this layer, and click it twice, and now you can just move this adjustment and simply turn the tint of this filter. Okay, and the last one, there's a levels 2 layer, which we just boost the contrast maybe a little bit, just increase the shadows, and there is a vibrance layer which boosts the vibrance of the colors on the whole image. Okay, so I think it's all, and what we can do, some more stuff. Maybe I will show you that you can also change the color of the spots to have even more interesting stuff going on. You can do whatever you want with it and achieve some very cool effects. So I think it's all, and if you don't know already this action, go to link below and check it out. And that's all. Take care, guys.